Love and kindness are two virtues, which are most essential for proper working of this world and interaction between people across the globe. This incident in Thailand will again prove this fact, that an act of love cannot be weighed and categorized into big or small. It is precious and vital. Thailand, a country located in Southeast Asia, is known for its monsoons. Well, by saying known for, I mean to say that this country experiences such heavy rain that hardly any nation would witness. Last year, the same happened in a suburb of its named Jomseon. The local residents had no other option than to run for any place they could hide, seeing the extremely heavy downpour. The area got flooded and it was extremely dangerous for anyone to stay outside and expose themselves to rain. While everyone was running for cover, one of them heard something strange, and it caught his attention. The man decided to search for the source of the sound. After some time, he was left perplexed, as, amidst the chaos, it was getting very difficult to search from where the sound was coming. Nevertheless, the man decided to take a closer look, as he thought it might be someone who needed help. On returning home, Brett heard a loud scream from his neighbor. He rushed towards his house to know what had happened. On asking, his neighbor told him that he could hear the sound of crying kittens but wasn't able to judge their location. Both of them decided that they had to do something about it. The situation was not at all on their side. It was an uphill task to search for someone as small as a kitten, amidst heavy rainfall and muddy water which had filled the streets. After a valiant effort, they were finally able to trace the sound back to the location. They were surprised on finding a kitten trying to cling to a piece of wood which was lying inside a barrel. The barrel had been in the garden for a very long time. The kitten was actually trying to save herself from drowning in the water, whose level was quickly escalating in the barrel due to the rain. The two men decided to save the kitten. It was Brett, who decided to hop into the barrel. But, he had to do this very carefully in order to avoid stepping on nails or wood. After carefully making his way down, he slowly picked the kitten up and tried to bring him to safety. Brett was careful while handling the kitten, as it was very small. He carefully lifted it, initially by the nape, and then, like a human baby, and brought it out of the barrel. Suddenly, both men heard another sound as they were on their way, going happily after rescuing the kitten. The two men were surprised. Is there another one inside the barrel? They questioned themselves. In a hope to find the other kitten, Brett quickly started swishing the water around. They knew that each minute was precious, as it could be the reason for the kitten's life or death. Even after some vigorous attempts, they were not able to find the kitten. So, they decided to stay silent for a moment and judge precisely the source of the sound. The strategy worked as they were able to locate where the other kitten was calling from. But this time, it was a little different. The second kitten was stuck in another barrel, which too, was in the garden. Fortunately, this kitten kept herself afloat by clinging to a flotation device. She was waiting for someone to rescue her. As she spotted the two men, she began to make more noise. There was one problem: the cats of Thailand, especially the stray ones, are known to be ferocious. They can viciously attack anyone who comes too close for their comfort. Since this one was not in such a bad position in the barrel as the other one, chances were that she could bite Brett. But, a poised Brett did it anyway. As expected, the cat got scared of seeing Brett approaching her and decided to bite him ferociously. Brett knew it was a tough task, but he couldn't leave the kitten to drown, so he made another attempt. Brett was exposing himself to the danger of getting injured by the cat or even getting infected by rabies. Forgetting all that, Brett decided to give it another shot. His friend's advice of picking the cat up by the nape succeeded, and finally, the cat was out of the barrel. But, the drama was not over yet. Brett was still standing inside the barrel. He only had the option of handing over the cat to his friend, as throwing her out on the ground could lead to her getting hurt. This was the decision which could have proved to be very fatal for the cat. Brett's friend made a silly mistake of putting the cat on the ground while helping Brett to come out of the barrel. To their horror, they discovered that the cat had started to move in the direction of the first barrel, the one from which they had saved the first kitten. Luckily, Brett and his friend were vigilant and active enough to save the cat from falling in the water. There was one last problem waiting for them of finding the mother of the cats. They could not leave them on their own, as it would be risking their life again, and couldn't take them with themselves because of a particular reason. Cats are not meant to be kept as a pet for people in Thailand, as they fear it would get eaten by snakes or dogs. The only solution that seemed possible was that of leaving the kittens on their own. The rescuers realized that the cats were probably been kept in the barrel by their mother to save them from the floodwater. After a few hours, their mother returned and surprisingly, was comfortable to see them safe with both men. But what happened next? After the monsoon was over, the rescuers started taking care of the whole family. To this date, they feed and nurture those cats, becoming a family. This shows that acts of kindness can carry with itself significant consequences, such as somebody escaping a threat to one's life. If you enjoyed this story, wait for our next story starting in 10 seconds. It was 7:30 in the morning when these rescue workers received a spine-chilling phone call. This is something most of them never expected they will be hearing over the hotline in their lives, but indeed they had just been informed of a baby orca being stuck on Andrew Rocks, located just off the coast of British Columbia. It was time for low tide, which was making things very serious for this baby orca. From that looks of it, one could guess that this poor orca must have been hunting for seals when it got itself stuck so hopelessly. This baby had unfortunately positioned itself amidst the rocks as she was waiting for her other family members to send the seal her way. But to her surprise, something went wrong and this orca found itself trapped. From what the people present at the scene describe, they could see that family of this unfortunate orca swimming in the distance, waiting for their poor baby. What was even more gut-wrenching was the fact that they could hear the poor orca baby call out to her family. Unfortunately for her, they were powerless to help her at this point. Without wasting a moment, the rescue team got to work. They were well aware how mammoth this task was going to be. As one can imagine, moving an animal as big as an orca was not going to be an easy feat to achieve. Especially when these rescuers couldn't fall back to their heavy machinery for help. The rescue team was running out of both time and options at this point. Not only they had to be careful of this poor orca's heath while they were rescuing her, but they also had to do it fast. One of the members of the rescue team come up with the idea to engineer a hose which would keep the whale hydrated until ocean rose to the point where orca was stuck. With a ton of duct tape and rubber hose, they finally made this peculiar hose. But this didn't mean that their job was done. With the sun rising higher on the horizon, the members of the team realized that they hadn't much time left to waste anymore. They needed to hide this baby orca from the scorching heat of the sunrays. This is the point where you can see the rescue team take off their shirts and soak it up in water, followed by covering the orca all over with it. It goes without saying that this team of rescuers was not going to leave this baby orca's side until they had made sure she was no longer in danger. And that would only be possible when the tides were back up again. They accompanied this innocent little orca for more than 8 hours to make sure that she was wet the entire time. Talk about dedication. As the tides had begun to rise again, the rescuers rejoiced. They took their shirt off of the whale and put them back on. The whale too seemed to have gotten excited by this as she began wigging her tail with each rise in the tide. Finally, she managed to break free of her rocky prison and sway freely into the open ocean, back to her family. She could be heard long after she was gone, as if saying her thanks to her brave rescuers. In Latin, the killer whale or the orcas are called Orcinus orca. Orcinus can roughly be translated to of the kingdom of the dead, and it is reasonable to assume that this name is derived from the Roman god of underworld Orcus. We think it complements its fierce hunting prowls quite nicely. From the time they are born, a baby orca can possibly weigh as much as 180 kilograms and can be as long as 2 to 3 meters long. And from the average size of an adult male noted over the years, they can weigh as much as 8,600 kilograms while growing up to 10 meters in length, while a female adult can grow up to 9 meters and weigh up to 5,400 kilograms. Orcas can be separated into two ecotypes, a distinct species which are occupying a particular habitat. While the northeastern Pacific residents are known to be fish eaters whereas their cousins mostly eat marine mammals, a prime example of such are orcas who are native to the water off New Zealand and have been known to eat rays and even sharks. Orcas are indeed really fast-paced swimmers with their recorded speed peaking at 54 km per hour. One of the ways these marine predators are known to hunt is by first hurting their prey followed by a sharp strike of their tail. They even work in conjunction with other orcas in order to hunt their prey. Cetaceans, including orcas, possess the amazing ability to operate with one half of their brain while resting their other side. This miraculous ability permits the side that's conscious to control breathing and avoids them from drowning, while the other half is snoozing. In their natural habitat, it has been observed that orcas rely on clicks and whistles in order to communicate with each other. At the surface, the scientists have observed that these whales use their body language to communicate. This includes breaching, slapping their flippers and tail.